don't feed the dog. Because the dog needed to come run at me, like being hungry, but it looked like it was being friendly. And she came, they let the dog out, and when the dog came out, the dog was like waddling, stopped and peed. I'm like, what happened? They said, your mother fed the dog. I'm like, Mom, what are you doing? That dog was hungry. He don't make movies. So, yeah, right, sure, all right, man. Yep. Hi, I'm Jonathan, and I'm an alcoholic. And, well, anybody got a drink? That's not funny. That's not funny. You got a drinking problem? That's not funny. No, when I got a drink, I have no problem.
All right. It's a little afternoon, so we're going to be starting the panel.
Do I have $5 for this dog? These are the bids of $5. I have 5, 55, 55, 10, 10, 15, 15, go 9. So.
Thank you so much, Jonathan Joss, for being here at ATG
Thank you, man.
Expo.
Thank you for the, now, it says fucking fathead on the bottom.
Yeah.
I mean, is that a personal thing, or, I mean, come on. No, but yeah, I didn't even, it's an actual fathead, huh?
I know, I was kind of impressed too.
Yes, yes, and how was it expensive?
No, it wasn't bad.
Really?
Yeah. I would say it was affordable enough that we did it for y'all, and it was, I think, probably one of the better additions for this year.
I have never seen one. Right. When I get home, I'm definitely going to get one. Yes.
Yeah, we'll chat. I want y'all to sign the ones that we have.
Oh no, I'll be happy to sign it for you.
We'll talk about helping you guys.
The first convention I did, I didn't know that they usually give it to the VIP or something, and hell no, man, I took it. And the next year, the guy goes, we don't appreciate, taking that poster home. I said, you mean like my land? That's all right. He goes, well, we don't understand why you took it. I said, I have a freaking name on it, my picture. I took it, and I would give it to my mom actually.
They're too good. That's on them.
Yeah, I didn't know, and I had my mom always had them. So, all right. Okay, question, guys. What do we want? What do we want to do?
I told you when we were chatting earlier, you were one of the guests, but I was personally super excited to have out. I'm a big fan of King of the Hill. I'm a big fan of Parks and Rec. I'm now a big fan of Tulsa King.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to let's start at the beginning. What was your first role? How did you get into acting?
Oh, I was born in a log cabin. I saw shit, man. The third, fourth grade, I was a fat kid, and didn't really fit in, and wasn't really an athlete. Didn't play an instrument. Talked a lot. So by the time I hit junior high, sixth grade, you kind of trying to discover yourself, and became basically a class clown, you could say.
Yeah, I totally get this because I was.
Yeah. Well, I was like a class clown, and I was fat, so I could run fast and I could fall really good, so I could trip and roll. And I had a sixth grade teacher, Miss Gams. God bless her, man. I wasn't doing very well in English. And I was talking, and I got a failing grade, and we had a meeting, and my mom's like, I'll beat the shit out of the kid, you don't speak English, goddammit. But she said, no, he needs something to do. Would you mind if you joined the drama department? And that's what I wanted to do. So I went into that, sixth grade, and after that, it just kind of took off. Well, always doing plays and talent shows, and Miss Gams, God bless her soul, man, she was introduced us to theater, tea, and finger sandwiches. We'd go to a place called the San Antonio Fiesta Dinner Playhouse, owned by Earl Holliman, and we would go there every new play. So I got turned on. Roddy McDowell did Harvey. I saw Patrick Wayne do Dial M for Murder or something. So I saw the stage, and went to high school, and found myself again being part of the theater department. And I really enjoyed theater. I loved the idea of remembering something. I liked that you had to keep your body in tune somewhat. I got to change in the girls' dressing room. I said, that's what I want to do. I want to do theater. So went off to college, flunked out of Southwest Texas State. If anybody, in school, just don't, my parents had a Mexican restaurant, and I did so poorly the guy goes, what did your parents do? And I go, well, they have a Mexican restaurant in San Antonio. He goes, you need to learn to make tacos. And I said, well, you need to learn to fuck yourself. I said, bye. So I took a break from there. I went to junior college, SAC, and they had a nice little theater department there.
Okay, I was going to ask.
San Antonio College, yeah. Yeah, I went to San Antonio College and did me worlds of good because you got people who are going, junior college, you got people that work and go to school. So you really have an adult thing. Then I transferred over to Incarnate Word. And all of a sudden, it was the upperclassmen that got the good roles. I'm like, what's going on here? You know, so didn't flunk out of that school, but I kind of just got pissed them off and they threw me out. Then I had some money saved and I went to Our Lady of the Lake University. They had a repertory theater there. And we got $15 for rehearsals and $25 for performances. So I started being a real actor. I was getting paid for it. So being that, being native, I mean, I'm not in a role carrier, but he was smart enough to do themes that had native ideas because I looked at. So we were getting good money for the school. And after that, I was like, I'm still doing theater. I love theater. And graduated, and I said, I'm moving to Austin. I started working with Joe Sears and Jason Williams from Greater Tuna, if you've ever heard of that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Greater Tuna is, not many people know this, it's the most performed play in high school.
I didn't know that.
Yes, I mean, like somewhere in the world right now, Greater Tuna is being done, you know, the two characters. So I went and worked for them and did a play called The Story of Jim Bridger, the Mountain Man musical. I'm not musically inclined, but it was a musical. And
Jim Bridger was a
yes,
frontiersman back in the 1800s.
yeah, it was yes, he was a mountain man. Yes, the Hugh Glass story, the one that what is it? The Brave, not the Brave, the one that what's his face did, DiCaprio.
Yeah,
He-
the Revenant.
Yes, that was Hugh Glass.
Hugh Glass.
Yeah, he's a mountain man that gets mauled by a bear, and he's left for dead. And the story is that he crawled. It was great, man. He was not Welsh. He was God. He wrote this guy that I worked with wrote Bluebell, the best ice cream in the country. And this guy was making money, banking, bald son of a bitch too. And his song was, you know, after I played the bear, so I would come. It was scary. I almost got shot. We were in Yellowstone Park, and they had this gorgeous bear outfit. And the guy from Australia had the didgeridoo. It was amazing. And I always snuck up, man, behind a tree with this big bear thing. And I'm serious, man. Foreigners see a bear and they shit their pants. And it was like, and they're like, what is that? Because the bear, there's a whole thing a bear does, you know, and that was fun. Hugh Glass musical again. It was so hokey. Bobby Bridger got pissed because I couldn't sing. And I took this wonderful song and did spoken word to it. But the cute thing was this Hugh Glass, and I crawl. And I'm like, holy shit, this is campy. So we did that. I was getting $200 a week. Okay? And I said, man, $200 a week? I mean, I got drug habits, I got alcohol problems. There's no way. And then the good thing was that Wes Studi had did the role before me, and Wes kind of took off. And I discovered that back then I was somewhat good looking, and I wore the loincloth and stuff, and somebody took a picture of me, and I said, you know what, I can sell these. So I didn't sell them, we put them, and we'd come out, and Bobby would be like, Jonathan, we need another picture. I said, why? He said, somebody sold it off the damn wall. I said, really? That told me I could sell myself. So I was selling those and doing advertisements. So I went from $200 a week to $600 a week. Okay. And getting paid $10 an hour for passing out, standing in front of a museum going, have you seen the Mountain Man musical? You need to see the Mountain Man musical. Yes, exactly. That was it. Again, back to the hustle. Did the play for 3 seasons, 3 summers, and got credit for college for it, and said, okay, I'm going to move to Dallas. And slowly, my idea was to get to Los Angeles. So I moved to Dallas, and then the horrible thing happened. I got a first part, in a film called 8 Seconds with Luke Perry,
Yeah.
doing the Lane Frost.
Which is crazy because when I was looking at
You look like Luke Perry.
IMDb and I saw that my brother is out in the crowd, but our sister, who's not here this weekend, she's a cowgirl.
Oh, okay.
She knew him.
Yes.
But
Oh, she knew him? Oh,
when
yes.
it came out, not Luke, but the actual.
No, the Elaine Frost. Yes.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
they knew him. They were in the same circle.
It was
I noticed that. And I thought that was kind of
a wonderful story. Worked with
really good movie.
worked with Luke Perry, and one of the Baldwin brothers, and someone else. And I remember I play ER Brown, EMT Brown, and come in. He gets gored. We run in and we have a bunch of lines and we carry him off, and hence he dies. And during the scene, he kept picking his shirt up because they had to paint the bruises, and the man was ripped. And they would take a picture, show it to the director. Director would show it to the cameraman. They're like, because what you're seeing is going to be different on film. So they had to get the bruising just right. And every time they do it, they would take a picture of Luke, and then, oh, no, and throw it in the trash can. And I would watch it. I can sell those. In my life, selling photos. I said, man, and I looked, and he's got his pants down here, and a couple of them you saw his face, and man's got those bones that stick right here, and awesome. And I was looking at that trash can. I said, oh man, Star Magazine, I can sell those. And yes, and it kept happening. And Luke is such a good actor that he always had his acting coach with him. And even when he gets gored, he's like, what do you think I should do? How are you bruised? Where do you feel the pain? So he was really into it. I was impressed with that. He just didn't want to sit there and go, oh. He actually asked, are you a EMT? I was like, no, Luke, I'm an actor, man. But the other guy, he was. And he described what would have happened, how he'd feel, blood would come out of the mouth, and he really got into it. And I was touched by that and went, shit, I can't sell these pictures, man. So I took the plastic bag, took them out of the trash can, and I said, Mr. Perry. He's like, yeah, Jonathan. I said, call me Luke. I said, yeah, Luke. I said, I think you may want these. And he's like, holy shit, these are in a trash can? He's like, man, somebody can sell those. I said, exactly. That's what I had to, can I come over? He said, no, man, I appreciate it. He goes, comes over later on and tells me, hey, man, he goes, we want to go country western dancing. I said, man, there's a place called Country Down Under. I said, I've been thrown out of there a couple of times. I said, I'd love to show up with you, man. He's like, sure, no problem, man. So sure enough, we go, and there's Luke and Walden Brothers, and come on, who doesn't know him? And here I am. Hey, you. I said, hey, I'm bringing these guys. He goes, okay, don't call me shit, though. And Luke's like, what's going on, man? I said, I get thrown out here all the fucking time. And it's a cowboy war, and I'm not a cowboy. And so we go in, and of course, all the girls are going there, and the cowboys are pissed off because everybody's over Luke, the Baldwin brothers, the whole bit. And there was some asshole comes up to Luke, and somebody's always...
Yeah, right, yeah, somebody's got to...
Somebody always has to be, an asshole. And he was being an asshole, and I remember I was sitting next to Luke in a bar stool, and I put my boot like this. So when I finally stood up, I said, dude, leave him fucking alone. He went, okay, I'll leave him alone. And Luke was like, they didn't realize I'd put on the bar stool, and I stood up on the bar stool. So I looked taller. I looked big. I was about 30 pounds heavier. And the guy walked off, and Luke just started laughing, man. He's like, holy shit, man. He goes, I couldn't believe he stood up. And I realized, I don't remember him being that fucking tall. Later on that night, when I left the bar, I walked by the guy, and the guy was like, fuck you. So we're sitting over drinking, and Luke Perry, now, remember, I could have sold the pictures. This is the kind of solid he did me, all right? I'm not necessarily proud of it. Yeah, I'm proud of it. Drunk girls come up. Hey, you Luke Perry. You're Baldwin. And he's like, I'm a Baldwin brother. Baldwin, you're Luke goes, Lou Diamond Phillips. Oh my God, I love Lou Diamond. I don't look like freaking Lou Diamond Phillips, man. And this girl's like, oh my God, La Bamba. Yo no soy marinero, soy capitán. She's like, oh my God. And I'm like, look at Luke, and Luke goes, just go with it, man. Go with it. So he sets us up with tequila, and the more tequila she had, the more I thought I was fucking, Ricky Valen. And sure enough, I went out, made out with this girl, and poor girl to this day, Basically said, you know, I had oral sex with Lou Diamond Phillips. Yes, yes, and that was, I felt so bad. Because she kept calling me Lou. Oh, Lou. I said, call me Richie. Call me Richie. She said, really? I said, yeah, la bamba. And so sweet. Luke was so sweet. Years later, I'm doing King of the Hill, and holy shit. I'm walking with a buddy of mine, and I hear Jonathan. I'm like, shit, you know, I owe somebody money. Jonathan, I'm like, dude, just keep walking, dude. Keep walking. He was like, no, man. He goes, it's Luke Perry. What? I looked over. He's like, Jonathan, man, I've been calling you. I said, oh, dude, I owe you money. I said, well, if you just said Lou Diamond Phillips, I'd have fucking turned around. I said, well, you owe Jonathan. He's like, how you? Sweetest man. Remembered me, talked to me. I was like, what's up with you? He's like, I moved to Montana because he was having issues. You know, and he moved and got out of Hollywood and came back and died. So basically, from that I went to Dallas, and I got the show would automatically put me in the union. You do one film, you do a union contract, so I become SAG eligible. And that's real important before moving to LA. You want to be a union actor. And it's hard to get, before you do like 3 vouchers, if you do 3 movies that are contract, then you become, but now it's like you have to have 12 or some bullshit, and it's $7,000 to become a member. When I joined, it was $2,500.
Interesting. I thought it was just if you had a speaking role that qualified.
You gotta have a union contract. And usually a speaking role means you've got a contract, but not all the time. You have to make sure you get the paperwork. So stayed in Dallas a bit, did female impersonating, stripping at gay bars, or stripping. I worked at Le Bear for a while, and you women are like animals, man. You know, holy gee, I was just a bartender. I mean, I was just a waiter, man. And I was like, man, and guys are sweet, you know, can I touch your penis? As opposed to grabbing it like a bear, you know. I'm like, okay, sure. Not too much now. So, how much money you got? But, so I did that to raise money. Landed Walker, Texas Ranger. Did like 6 roles. I did 2 as one character, and then I did 2 as, 3, I think 5, and the last one I did is Uncle Ray in the flashbacks. I played Chuck Norris's uncle in the flashbacks, which was amazing. The first Chuck Norris story, man. He's Chuck Norris. Now remember this, you know, Chuck Norris. You don't tell Chuck Norris the time. He tells the time what time it is. All right. And there's one scene. I'm a bad Indian, and he comes to the res, and they think I'd kill somebody, and he's standing on an apple box, because he's like, yeah. You go to an audition for Walker, Texas Ranger, and there was on the wall there's a tape, and people are like, what the freak's that tape for? That's how tall Chuck was. So when you'd walk in, I made sure I took my boots off, or I had tennis shoes on, or took the heels off, because you could not be taller. I mean, you could be, as long as he's on the apple box, he's fine. And so I walk up to him, and he puts his hand out, and he stops me, and I said, we don't want your kind around here, And we got the scene. Michael Priest ended up dying later on. So we walk in, and Chuck is an old man, kung fu, fuck him, he's still an old man. And I walk up, and he doesn't do anything. He just kind of, I'm like, give me something to work with. Give me something, be a bad actor, goddammit. And I get up here, and he puts his hand out. We don't want your kind around here, and his arm bends. It's almost like the Tulsa King thing. His arm bends. And cut. Michael says, listen, Chuck's hand is the hand of God. He said, when he puts that out, man, you stop. I'm like, well, And Chuck looks at me and goes, just shoot the scene. Okay, cool. Now we're getting around. All right, old man, you ready? And I'm going at him in. The old guy doesn't do shit. Does the same thing, just stupid Peckerwood, all I saw. And I'm like, toupee, the whole bit, looked like a little monkey jaw. And I love him so much. And we're recording this, so I'm sorry, Chuck. So, remind me to tell you the Liev Schreiber story when I did that HBO thing. Remember, that was very funny. So I go, and he doesn't do anything differently. And as I'm walking, I'm thinking, oh man, just at least something that makes me look. And when acting, what you want to do is, acting is not acting. Acting is reacting. It's reacting. And if you're acting, you're a bad actor. I've been reacting to her marriage for the last 2 fucking years. So anyway, and that's a secret, is reaction, you know, because no matter what they throw at you, you can react because they need to be reacting to something, not acting. And so for him, he wasn't doing anything. He was just going, So I'm like, oh shit. And just as I get here, he puts his hand out, and just as I get there, he does this, just a kind of thing, just nails me, just boom. Air came out of me. You know, I'm sorry I didn't fart, man. He hit me, ooh. And in the thing you hear, I go, we don't want your kind around here. I'm thinking, what the fuck just happened? I mean, I've got barrel chest and all of a sudden it just, air went out. We want your kind around here. Back then we had film. They did things like check the gate, which meant they had to look at the film, make sure there's no hair in the gate. Sometimes you get hair in it, you see the film and there's a hair. Could be hair, it could be some pollen or something. But they have to check the gate, and they look at the gate. It's clear. You want to do it? No. Chuck, great. And Chuck looks at me, walks around, steps off his apple box, walks around me, and I shit you not, I can't move. You know, what the fuck was that?
You did the 5 fingers
Yes.
touch.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell? Yeah, it's just that little chish. I get in the van with him. I'm like, Mr. Norris, what was that? And he's still, you know, high boots. He's like 6-inch heels, man. Looked like a drag queen, big ass heels. I got a pair of boots just like it, double soles, man. I'm like 6'3" with them. So he gets in the van, sits down, and I'm behind him. I'm like, Mr. Norris? He's like, yeah, what's up? I said, what the hell was that? He goes, I'm Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris. And he just, poof, bah, and just amazing, man. He's a real thing.
That's kind of cool. I've seen one video of like an actual master, and
Yep.
he looked so effortless. It was like
Yep.
8 guys were attacking him.
They hold it, and
and he barely moved.
he barely moved, yeah.
And so that's what.
And that's exactly what he got me right in there and just kind of, you know, and since then, you know, I discovered that. I was like, what the hell? It was a wonderful thing. Very nice man. I saw him last year. He bought some conventions that he runs.
He's been doing some shows.
Right, and he was wonderful, and I got in line, and right at the end, you know, he opened up to the employees. So I show up, and he looks at me and goes, "Hey, I know you," because he met my mom, he met my dad. He was a wonderful guy, man. And he said, and I went. He went, yeah, Jonathan. I said, yes, sir. Don't touch me. Don't touch me, man. And yeah, he was just a sweetheart, man. He was just down to earth. When he did Walker, they said it was a joke, but he led his spot, his timeline. He was a #1 show for a while. Then, in the eyes of a ranger, he even had the balls to sing his own theme song. I mean, man was amazing. Quick story on him. Another quick story. My mom went on the set with me, and we looked over. My mom was pissed. My mom was standing. I said, "Mom, what's up?" She said, "That son of a bitch took my chair." I mean, like our land? And she says, "Yeah." I said, "Don't take an old lady's chair, you know." I had to go to rehearsal, and I went in, and Mr. Norris was like, "Hey, John, what's up?" He said, "You look happy." I said, man, I said, my mom was sitting down. I said, they told her she couldn't have the chair. I said, she's like 60 years old, man. He said, who took the chair? I said, that guy right there. Hold on. He went over and tells the guy, you see that lady? You follow her with the chair. She moves, you move the chair. He said, you're not taking the oldest chair away. And the guy, oh, okay, Mr. Norris. He said, no, okay, Mr. Norris, just next time respect your elders. Ma'am, I'm terribly sorry. Mom, fine, that's fine. Yeah, so the guy gets a chair, puts a chair down, and my mother sits down. And while we're rehearsing, my mother was such a bitch, man. I think somebody said, oh, I'm so sorry your mom died. Hey, a bitch, man. She was a bitch when she was alive, and you imagine what kind of bitch she became when she was dying? Holy jeez. I was like, you're crazy. You're crazy. I was like, you're my mom. What the hell? And she, doing the scene, and my mom would, and then she told the guy, go back down. So for like, 3 hours, man, my mother would move like just a couple of steps, and this guy would get the chair and move it over. Yeah, it was just the greatest thing. And Chuck looked at me and went, I see where you get it from, man. He said your mom, but
That's cool that she got to be on set with you while you guys were filming because it was all
Yeah.
all that was done here.
yes, yeah. And then when I did Tulsa King, now full circle, man, because business is so small that if you piss somebody off or you act a fool, you're gonna see them again. And I looked at one guy, guy's like, "Holy shit, you got old." I said, "You got old, man." He said, "Guess what?" He said, "You see all them old people?" You know? I said, "Yeah." "Oh, that's so and so." It's like the whole crew from Walker, Texas Ranger is working on Tulsa King. Yeah, the grips, yeah, all the drivers, because Chuck and Sly, you know, I call him Sly. That was so cool, man. That was so cool. The scene, he kept, he was a loony, he was some kind of nut, the cuckoo, what's wrong with you? And he kept doing this thing, man, and I was like, they brought me in for rehearsal, and I'm not in the scene now. With COVID, you're not supposed to be within so many feet if you're not in the scene. I had no need to be in this room when he's good. Cuckoo. Well, that was fuckface. You know, I was running with him, you know, we need to smoke the peace pipe because he's a cuckoo. What the fuck is wrong with that fuckface? And every time he, you know, he'd say it, they'd laugh. Ha, 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 ha. Oh, yeah. You know, what's it? And he kept building on it. I'm behind a pillar in this guy's house. I'm like, son of a bitch, man. Rocking my ass. So I went around the tree, boy. It was like a log cabin, and came around, and I just started, and he felt it, boy. He looked over, and I'm just like, you know, I'll kick your old ass, man, you know. And director calls me, "Hey, John, come here." I said, "Yeah." He said, "No. It's important that, you know, you're gonna respect him, but you don't like him." I said, "I don't like the motherfucker, man. I do not like him. Number one, the line is, do you have a last name? You know, number one, he thinks I cut the grass, and number two, you know, out of respect, he's Italian, coming to my land, and, you know, your last name, yeah, it comes up with my first name. Well, what is it? Oh, you got any problem? I got a lot of problems, motherfucker. You know? Have you ever been on a horse? A very important line. He wants to see if he's got sand. The Westerns say, "Do you have sand?" And that's basically the guy, you know, Indian guy, you've been on a horse. You know? I'm wondering, what kind of you a cowboy? You know, what are you? You know? To me, I thought he was Columbus. You know, last name Columbus, it's fucking Italian. And I told these Indian guys, they were like, "Hey, Jonathan," he said, "You let Stallone call you a cuckoo and nuts?" "Well, we know you're nuts." He said, "But you gonna let him call you?" I said, "Man," I said, "I'm not, dude, don't. Yo, brothers, give me a chance now. Let me hear it." So, and I say, "You ever been on a horse?" "Hey, you ever been on disability?" But he takes that breath. You know, you watch pausing and acting. You want to put pauses where they need to be. And then you want to interject your reaction. And usually it's when a person takes that breath is when you get your words in. You don't want to overlap, especially in film, because you don't want to jump a line or cut a line.
You want to ruin a take.
Yes, you don't ruin the take, exactly. And Sly would take that deep one. And I said, "You ever been on a horse?" "I don't mean no fucking Italian stallion. No pussy Italian stallion. I mean a real horse." And shoo, I can take 10 motherfuckers like you out. You feel froggy, go ahead and fucking jump. And you know, he's a big guy. Boy, I just read it. It's like, cut. Boy, I got the Chuck thing, boy. When I got up, I got that power punch. Whop! Nailed that old man. And he saw it. Cut. "Hey, Jonathan." I said, "Yeah, what's up?" They said, "Dude, damn, man." He said, "You went up against him. We liked it. I got something out of it. His reaction. Bad acting, acting. Good acting is reacting. He didn't react before. He's thinking about his lines. He was thinking, you ever been on disability? He reacted this time. You ever been on life support? Different line. Because now he's threatening my life as opposed to insulting me for being a lazy Indian. There's a difference. See, the whole scene changed.
That's interesting. That
Yep.
for those of you who haven't seen Tulsa King yet, it's when he meets Stallone for the first time, and it's awesome because he puts his hand out, and you get to
Not shake his hand. Not shake his hand. No. Yeah, and the writer, it was his character. The writer came to me because, listen, Jonathan, he said, it's my character, man. He said, I named him after the bad-faced Indians that Black Elk didn't like. He said, that's how badass this guy is. Because in the mafioso world, sooner or later, the head, because you got to remember, he's not a good character. He's a bad character. So you've got to have something later on, second, third season, that can go up against him. And they tell you, you're the guy for the role, you worked this role. I said, yeah, I've been cutting my face for the last 3 fucking years. I said, so getting rid of my good looks because of Mickey Rourke. A lot of the breakup I have is because I straight razor and I don't clean it properly, but I got it from Mickey Rourke. Mickey Rourke was such a good looking at his young age that he started taking boxing and fucking up his face. And when I worked with him on Sin City 2, he's like, you used to be good looking, huh? I said, I'm still good looking, man. He goes, nah. He says, nothing worse than getting old and you still think you're good looking. He said, dude, if I were you, do this. And well, he's got saliva dripping out of his fucking face. And I'm like, you know what? He's got a point there. So I got married and I thought, well, shit, I can just let myself go. For me as an actor, it gave me something else to do. I auditioned 3 times for the fucking thing, and for different characters. And all this, it had that blackface fucking character there. The bad face. And I'm like, what the hell's going on here, man? Finally, I said, God damn, the world. I said, don't these people see? The guy that does my auditions, I have one guy that does them, and wonderful guy, wonderful. Josh Long, he's done a couple of films with me. And I said, man, what? He says, don't wear the makeup. Just do it the way you look horrible. Just do it. And I went in and I did it and I got the part. And that's how casting kind of works. See, if you look the part, but then I was able to bring, because he called me a cuckoo clock. Well, some kind of cuckoo clock? My mother used to call me a cuckoo clock. Because it was a polite way of saying I was a fucking nut. But I said, Sloan, Mr. Sloan, I said, my mom used to call me cuckoo clock. I meant no offense. I said, no, man. I said, no, I like it. Because it was endearing. I said, again, it was a reaction to me that, I said, I liked it.
It gives you something like...
Yes, it gave me something to work with, yeah. And the big line, is, if you haven't seen it, is, hey, Mr. D, I don't have many friends, and I want to say thank you for inviting me to this beatdown. And he's like, oh, okay, hey. He's like, oh, you okay there? Oh. He didn't know what to say.
So he's now talking about a later scene in Tulsa King where Stallone's character needs to assemble a group of badasses.
Yes.
To go put a beat down on some rednecks, basically.
Yep.
Bikers.
Oh, man.
And he's got a bad face.
Yep.
Punked him,
and I'm thanking him.
Now, here's my question about that beatdown, because obviously I know I was going to get to meet you shortly after I was watching this. Were you, there's a part where you're hitting somebody with a bat, and you have this kind of like maniacal smile.
Oh, dude, it's beautiful.
Did they tell you to smile?
No, it was all me. They brought in a stuntman. They're like, we're going to bring a stuntman. I said, well, I got one. We got somebody. And then I show up, and they gave me Danny Trejo's stuntman, who is like 3 feet shorter than me. But he could resemble me, but just smaller. Filipino guy, Hawaiian or something. And he comes down, I said, listen, man, I said, no offense. I said, I understand. I said, but since I'm right, because if you notice, that Sly has all black on and I've got all black on. And we're close together, And they were kind of building something there. And I told the guy, I said, listen, I said, I want to do the stunts. He said, oh, you're working right next to Sly. He goes, you got to prove it. You got to prove that you can do the scene and not hurt anybody because you're working with a big stunt crew. And I said, sure.
There's a lot of action in that
Oh,
scene.
big, yes. And so the whole scene, I love it because they do it to the song Everybody Hurts. And that's been my theme song since my wife left. And it all of a sudden the song plays, and I remember the stuntman, who looks just like Sly, he does Everybody Hurts. So all of us, we thought we were fucking, we're all dancing, boy. We all thought we were badass. Then Sly comes in. All right, guys, shoot this fucking scene. Remember, all right, you remember the camera over there, over here. Oh, wait. He knows where everything is. And action. Cut, Sly. We're wondering, the music, could you want me to fucking dance? What, like this? No fucking way. And we're laughing. We're like, damn, dude. So he comes out and rehearse the scene. They tell my stunt man what to do. It's like I don't speak English. Okay, now you're going. I fucking speak English. I go over there, hit the guy. I understand. He said, but you got to know where to hit them, how to hit them. I'm like, okay, I've done it before. I said, great, let's do it. And you got to remember, when you see it, Sly hits that one guy, boom. And everybody hits, when he hits them, that's when I step in and knock him out, bam. And I do that to a couple of characters. And it's just great because it was like I was there for Sly, and he knew it. So, and then I could see him look over, and he's like, I like that. Said, yes, sir. And then they changed the scene, and I was sitting out of it. And I said, hey guys, they said, yeah, what? I said, this is fucking Badface, man. He wants to beat everyone's ass, especially a fucking Peckerwood. They said, let's do it. So that yes, I am yelling, you Peckerwood son of a bitch! And I'm beating the hell out of it. But I got the approval. I was given 2 stuntmen to hit. You know, you hit the areas that are hot, that aren't the padded areas. You don't ever hit the neck, the throat. There's certain areas you hit. And we did it. Rehearsal, half speed, ba boom, ba boom, and the guys were like, "Oh man, great! I feel safe with you, wonderful." And when the stuntman walked away, I took a broom, very important, and I swept the area where we're at, because there's nothing worse than falling on a little fucking pebble. That will mess up your whole day. Yes, and these 2 guys went, "Dude, you are the first because you're amazing, man." I said, "No, man, you guys are amazing." I said, because you're the one I'm hitting. They were like, you know what? Perfect. You got permission, man, wherever. Just wail on us. And man, I had so much fun. I haven't even seen the scene. And I'm in the background, and I'm beating the shit out. Yeah, back away, you the bomb. And then we cut. I'm like, I mean, I fell down one time. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I love it. Yeah, because they're beating the hell out of the one guy. They did up. Yeah, they're beating up the nice guy, and we go in, boom. And then as soon as I turn, the stuntman was wonderful. The stuntman said, "The camera's right behind you. Don't forget." I mean, this guy was such a good stuntman. I see why Danny hires him, because Danny's not the best actor in the world, and that's because some people aren't. But it's all about knowing where the camera is. But when you're trying to think about stunts, he knew everything. He's like, now, Jonathan, when you beat him, boom, 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 don't turn this way, because the camera's over your left shoulder. I was like, holy shit, I can't see the camera. The camera's shooting for mine. Put him in the right place, the right time. Everything was choreographed, how we were standing, how we were this, and he was the guy that told me, now, when you turn, bring that face into the camera. He said, because the camera's right there, and it's going to be right there.
Yeah, it is.
Oh man, and
it's a shot of you.
Yeah, yeah, and it's just it was just so much fun, man. It was just, and we did it over and over. We did it several times, man. And then
it's a long scene, and there's a bunch of camera shots too.
Yes.
How long was that? Was that an entire day? My guess was at least a day.
They did a night shoot, and so it was a full day.
Yeah.
It was a full day, and lunch. Yeah, because it was. Then they had to do pickups. They had to do Sly just coming in.
Yeah, because
right.
12 people in that scene.
Right, and then they brought his stuntman in, which Sly did he does a lot of his own stuff. A couple other things he didn't do, but we did it. I mean, everybody wants to improve themselves, and so we got through it, man. We got through it, and it looks great. I saw the outtakes or the dailies, and it looked great. But it was a lot of fun, and that you're working with Sly, man. When I tell him, there's 12 of them. 12, that's my lucky fucking number. And Sly was on the set then. He talks to everybody, and he was smoking a cigar and all the time. And he kind of throws it down, and I saw it roll. And I was like, oh man, that's tobacco. And it's kind of it is spiritual to Native people. That's how we the wings, the four-legged, and the crawlers all have a connection with the Great Spirit. They can talk. Two-leggeds, we cannot talk to God or talk to the Spirit. And that's why he gave us tobacco. That's why we put it in the peace pipe and breathe it into our lungs. We pray on it, comes into us, and as our prayers go in the smoke, and the smoke goes up, and that's where our Creator is. So tobacco is fairly important. And, I've been talking to God like, wait, baby God, I hate you. So I've been getting a little closer to God lately, son of a bitch. And so I saw this, shit. I pick it up, and I'm like, I'm holding it, you know, got a little bit of spit on my hand. I'm like, fuck, this is gross, man. And I go, Mr. Stallone? He's like, yeah. I said, your cigar? I didn't want anyone to step on it. Jonathan, right? Yes, sir, Mr. Stallone. You picked that off the floor for me? I said, yes, sir. So no one will step on it? Yes, sir. Huh. I said, because it's spiritual and, you know, I mean, it's even more spiritual since, you know, you were sucking on it. He's like, huh. It was Jonathan, right? I'm like, what a bitch, man. You punched drum or what? And I go, yes, Mr. Stallone. He's like, call me Sly. Oh, man, I got a hard on. I was like, woo, call him Sly. Oh, man. We went to lunch. First thing I said was, hey, Sly, how was lunch? You know, and because I had noticed everyone was calling him Sly. And one guy goes, did he tell you to call him Sly? He did me too. Yeah. And we're all like, you call him Sly. So, yeah. And it was really special, man. And later on, we were shooting another scene in the bar. And he gets kind of happy, you know. And he looked at me and he went into Rocky, man. He looked. And as soon as he did that, I covered up. And he's like, you gotta give me something to hit. I was like, fuck you, man. I saw Rocky 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I ain't giving you nothing to hit, brother. Shit. I don't care if you're 90 years old. He'll beat my ass. So that was good. There was a couple of issues on the set for me, but it was a great show. Bad Faces is in the big house. Why doesn't Sly try to? Why doesn't Dwight try to get him out? So there's a area there. You know, every actor says this is going to be my big break. This is going to be my big break. You know, man, I'm ready to die. I have no fear. I had a guy pull a gun on me who ran over my dog, and he's like, "You need to be a good neighbor, all right? Be a good neighbor." 9mm. You need to be a good neighbor. And I got my 9, and I'm thinking, yeah, he's in his car. It's in drive. All I have to do is drop down, pop, put one into his fucking eyes. Fucking guy from El Salvador. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, wonderful San Antonio. And it was at that moment that I went, you know, I'm heartbroken, COVID, the world sucks, you know. And he ran over my fucking dog, didn't apologize, and he has the audacity to pull a fucking gun on me. And I said, oh God, I'm gonna kill him. And I went, I can't do that because who's gonna take care of the dogs, you know? And who's gonna take care of that little guy, man? And fuck, man, I just told the guy, I said, dude, I said, please shoot me. I have no fucking reason to live right now. I said, I'm miserable. I've got cancers like people do that aren't answered. I said, I'm drinking too much. I'm tearing my fucking body up here. I said, you know, I'm stuck in my mom's house, you know, where I got the old lady haunts me, my mom haunts me, I haunt me. And I'm like, dude, just pull the fucking trigger. And this poor guy didn't know what the fuck to do. All I'm asking you is to be a good neighbor. I said, all I'm asking you is to fucking kill me, dude. I said, because if you ever pull that fucking gun on me again, I will fucking make you eat it. So put your fucking gun down and get fucking back home. That's simple. You know? And I'm doing this in a fucking dress, because I cross-dress. And I'm doing this in a fucking dress in my front yard. It's because I want people to leave me alone, man. I got good, this is a dress. And I look at great legs. And especially if you're going to kick my ass, you're going to kick me ass in a dress, or I'm going to kick your ass in a dress. Real simple. And the guy was just had this look on me. I looked at it and he was just like, fuck, this guy's serious. I was like, just dude, just go, man. Go. And that's the good thing about anyone in life, is that there's a period, actor, no actor, there's a human element that we are forgetting. And it's that we're all human. John Trudell said it. We're all human that live in a world that forgot what being human is all about. This whole COVID thing, man, puts us, we're all Indians, man. We're all are being treated by the government like a bunch of fucking sheep. You know, they've proven to me that we're not important. We're not important. You know, what's important is to make sure that freedom is halted for us. I call COVID the war on freedom, man. Because before, you could get like $2 worth of gas and drive anywhere you want. Now gas is high and groceries are high, and you know, you gotta wipe your butt with corn shucks now. And there's a period in life where you kind of don't want to live anymore. You don't want to live. And if you have that, I'm not saying suicidal. there's a point where you don't want to live anymore. That's when you kick it in gear. That's when you kick it in gear. Because the only thing they can take away from us is our liberty, our freedom, and our life. And when you're willing, give me life, give me freedom, or give me death. You know? And that is when you realize life is beautiful. If I am willing to give up the most beautiful thing in the world, just so I can have some fucking peace, just so I can feel right in my heart, you're doing the right fucking thing. I'm not saying being suicidal. I'm just saying you gotta be willing to give it up.
You gotta find your purpose.
Yeah, right. And that purpose is for them not to make you want to give it up. Because that's the whole period. That's the whole point is to break you down. So it's not a motivational speech. It's just that I'm fucking back, man. And it's back, not with a vengeance. I'm back with knowing that I can lose everything that's important to me and still find myself important. Because that's the most important, man. I mean, I've been homeless. I've done this. End story. Funniest story. I mean, I don't give a shit. I had to do a 48-hour hold, man. You know, went to the cuckoo clock. And I'm sitting there, and the psychiatrist and the team's there, and I got a mask on, and you know, I'm not in a good mood. I have questions that aren't answered, and it, you know, had a nervous breakdown. I was pissed off, and the doctor tells me, Mr. Gonzalez, my last name is Gonzalez. I go by Joss. The whole story on that, and he goes, Mr. Gonzalez, could you tell us how you got here? I was like, well, doctor, I said, I prefer to be called Mr. Joss. And before I could say, I'm an actor, professional name, looks at his 3 doctors. He goes, patient likes to be patient likes to be called by another name. Fuck, man. I'm like, okay. I said, okay. He goes, okay. Mr. Joss, how did you find yourself here? Blah, 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 blah. And then you go, boy, you have a recipe, don't you? I'm like 6 packs of beer, you know, 3 joints, you know, a couple of grams of this, a couple of grams of that. And he's like, boy, you got a menu over there, don't you? That's what you asked me, doctor. I told you, you know. And he said, okay. He goes, tell me something else about you. I said, I'm the voice of John Redcorn on King of the Hill. King of the Hill. Patient says he's a cartoon. I'm like, doctor, I didn't say I was a cartoon. I'm the voice. He goes, oh, I'm sorry. Patient says he's the voice. Mr. Joss, do you hear any other cartoon voices? I'm like, yes, sir, I do. Oh, like which ones? Well, when I call Dale. Oh, you call these cartoons at home or at work, depending where the fuck they're at. And this guy just beat my ass down. The doctor he was referring to, that he was talking to, his intern or whatever you call him, looked like Aziz from Parks and Rec. The Indian guy, all those fuckers look alike. And, you know, not a whiskey Indian, a dot-head Indian. And I said, for example, I said, I'm an actor. I said, he looks like a Z. Patient says, doctor, blah, 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 looks like a letter from the alphabet. I said, sir, I didn't say he was a letter of the alphabet. He looked like a Z. He goes, Mr. Joss, Z is the last letter of the alphabet. And I'm like, oh, dude, you're serious, man? And that's when I realized, these people are going to make me go crazy, man. They're going to make me go crazy. So it was over New Year's. It was not this New Year, New Year's before last. And he, you know, and it was like cuckoo's nest, man. They got me, got my clothes, the whole bit. I got molested, all kinds of bullshit. And I remember walking, and all of a sudden I went, fuck, I ain't got no shoelaces. I said, nurse? Yes, Mr. Joss. I said, why don't I have any shoelaces? She goes, because you could hang yourself with them. I said, well, shit, I can hang myself with my socks. She goes, give me your socks. Oh, damn it. So I have to take my socks off. She takes my shoes. I'm going through the ward, and I was a bull goose loony. Because I walked, everybody went, oh, shit. Hey, man, that guy wants to kill himself. I'm like, no, man, I just said I could hang myself with a sock. He goes, oh, don't tell him that. Don't do that. Don't do that. You want that banana? But, yeah, it's been a wonderful career. Fun. Thank you for having me here. Thank you guys for listening.
You swung real wide on me.
We got 5 minutes? Oh, I thought we were ready to go.
I want to know about King of the Hill.
What about King of the Hill?
How did that happen? Like, what was it like working on the show? How did you get
It sucked. Sucked.
Did you, yeah, I was going to ask you. Was it because it was voice acting as opposed to...
No, it just sucks because I got paid, I never got more than $2,500 an episode. And I hung out with people that were making a couple $100,000. I'd sit around and people, oh, Jonathan, do you have a house? No. Do you have a house in San Antonio? No. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm fucking sure if I had a house some fucking place. You know, and if you had a family, they want to have babies. Fox, as soon as you're having babies, you get locked in and you're a sucker. I have no babies. I have nothing, you know. I lived on a boat.
It's kind of surprising when I went and looked how many episodes that John Redcorn
20 or something. But it took 7 years for him to break up with Nancy. And that I started that 2 years. 5th year, I was like, dude, I can't do it anymore. I said, I've got the native elders going, it's not funny, man. You got a fun character, he can arc, he can, you know. And they would not budge, man. They're like, dude, your money. Because when you do King of the Hill, or you do any sitcom, you have to have so many, literally it's mathematics. You have to have so many laughs per page. And if you don't have a laugh, the writers go and they have to write something funny. And if they didn't find something funny, it was, hey Nancy, I'll see you later. I'm like, dude, that's not fucking funny. But you have to sit around there and laugh. Yeah. And I was, my friend Victor Aaron, who was originally cast in it as a regular, died in a car accident. And then I came around and got the ability to audition, and I got it. And then he became a guest star. But the thing was that Victor was 6'3", 6'4", man, and was all muscle. He won the world's great world of sports. They had a bouncer thing, and he won. He was the world's greatest bouncer. And to win it, he had to bust down oak doors, and he did 5 doors, boom, 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 knocked doors down, man. Big guy. He was in Geronimo. He played Walks in Clouds. I mean, this guy was ruthless, man. And we worked on Comanche Moon together, or Dead Man's Walk together. And I remember we were sitting there, and well, a native character. You know, native guys, we all have to prove how manly we are, you know. And we're not. If you have to act manly, you're not manly. And one of the Indian guys started chewing the glass. And Victor was like, oh, fuck that. So I'm sitting between these two animals, man. I'm a college boy. I'm like, you guys are eating fucking glass? He goes, yeah, he did it first. I said, you guys, quit eating glass. Y'all spit the glass out. How the fuck are y'all do that? Very tough guy. So when I would ask for something, they didn't do it. You know, I was like, dude, y'all wouldn't treat Victor like this, man. Because if Victor said something to you, you do it. You know, and I went through it, and one time they said, my psychiatrist says, I said, why does John Redcorn have a freaking psychiatrist now, man? I said, can't you say my friend is a psychiatrist? Why is that? Well, that's a Greg Daniel line. And Greg Daniel, who did Parks and Rec, we butted heads on it. And then I said, I can't do it anymore, man. I mean, I did one time a thing that you have to, if you do a voiceover and have a retake, you have to give it to them. So I'm sitting there doing an episode, and they're like, Jonathan, we need you to do a pickup. And I went, okay, we're ready. I said, no, I'm here doing this episode. You want me to do a pickup? Tomorrow. He said, but you're already here. I said, I don't give a shit. It's my prerogative. If I give you a pickup now, you're in control. I'm not going to give it to you. Boy, they kind of strong-armed me. Well, Jonathan, I was like, you know what? Fuck y'all. I said, I'll do the pickup. And I said, that's it. I'm gonna lose it, get fired, and because it did nothing for me, man. It just made me almost, but it didn't do anything. You know, it wasn't satisfying. The character was stupid. When he was funny later on, when he became the band and shit. Yeah. And I remember I went out to my car. And I was a 911 at the time, 81 911. I went and I put on my vest, the leather vest I have. I put the leather vest on, jumped in the Porsche, backed up, and almost ran over Botchko from whatever. He's in his, what the hell are you doing? Never mind. I lit that little mother up, and whoosh, there I go in a Fox lot, man. And the Fox lot have these buildings, and they're like never far from each other. So this little Porsche was just bouncing, man. And I flew by Kathy Najimy and Brittany Murphy. Boom! I went, oh shit! Backed up. Brittany, Kathy, good working with y'all. What's going on, John Redcorn? I said, Brittany, I said, I'm done, man. Fuck these motherfucking white fucks, man. I'm done. I said, they can shove the show up their ass, man. And boom, I took off. And then I looked behind me, and there is security from Fox in golf carts, okay? Golf carts chasing a 911. I couldn't get it over like 40, but they couldn't go over 20. So it looked like, it was funny. I looked over the mirror, and these guys are, and I'm like, are they really chasing me in golf carts? But I knew I couldn't escape because they've got security, man. And it was after 9/11, so it was really tight. And I just got in McDonald's and in the morning, and I had the bag there, and I went, aha, I know what I'm gonna do. I jumped out, grabbed my McDonald's, threw it in the trash can, got back in the Porsche. You remember these guys trying to catch up with me, and I threw it away, and I jumped back in the Porsche. They're still not there, man. And I'm like, okay, I'm waiting. And and what do? They're security guards, so they have to be secure. They go to the trash can because God forbid I put a bomb. So everybody went to the, and I'm like, oh yeah, old Indian trick. Throw McDonald's away, white guy goes to the left. And relax for that, cops. But anyway, they went that way, and I went, aha, circle the wagons. So I went back to the beginning. Parked it, got out, and Botch goes like, what the hell is wrong with you? You almost ran over me. I said, dude, I get $2,500 fucking an episode. He went, you do what? I said, $2,500 an episode. He goes, oh, I'd be pissed off too. I'd be pissed off too. I said, I'm really sorry, sir. He goes, well, please be careful. You could hurt somebody. So I go into King of the Hill, and by that time, they've called him, and my agent, and Joe Boucher. God, thank God for Joe. I walked in, and he's like, God damn it, Jonathan. I'm like, what, Joe? What are you doing? I said, what do you think I'm doing, man? I'm pissed off. He's like, but you almost run over Kathy Najimy and Brittany Murphy? I went, whoa. Brittany Murphy, I can understand. Almost hitting her. But Kathy Najimy, she's got a fucking ass like an elephant. How the fuck am I going to miss her? I said, so she come out, almost ran over that big girl. I said, no, and there's Kathy. Oh, shit. No, I'm probably bragging about it. I mean, but yeah, she heard me. Bullshit. Don't say I almost ran over anybody, because I didn't. I stopped and backed up, and I thought that was it. I really thought that was it, and they gave me a raise. That's when I went up to 2,500, and it was horrible, and we fought them, and then like finally they got some sense to them. They're like, okay, Jonathan, what do you want? I just want the character to be like everyone else, because that was what made King of the Hill so good, is that everybody was flawed, but everybody knew it. Hank had an urethra. If it was my son, I'd hug you. Everybody knew what they were doing. Kathy had big feet. I mean, everybody had their thing, except John Redcorn was the one that still had dirt on it. He wanted to be a dad. And when you look at native people, we lead in anything bad. Native people lead in. The life expectancy of a native hasn't changed, man. It's like 47 years old. Diabetes, unemployment, alcoholism, drug abuse, you name it. We're all there. Fathers that aren't fathers were right there, and it just broke my heart to have this great character. And they said, Jonathan, what do you want to do? And I said, well, let's make him a wrestler. If he's a wrestler, he have a mask on, and Bobby can do a thing. He's like, nah, we don't like it. So that's when a buddy of mine said, dude, man, are you just going to drug and drink your life away? I said, that's pretty much a fucking idea. He said, no, man, do something, man. Write a song. So I went, yep, boom. So I came up with Big Mountain Fudge Cake. Big Mountain Fudge Cake is the signature dessert from Stuart Anderson's. And I was, Stuart Anderson. That's where Hank used to have Thanksgiving dinner. So I knew since we had the rights to say Stuart Anderson, we'd have the rights to say Big Mountain Fudge Cake. So my buddy of mine and we did golden driplets, a pea sting toilet, and we did, gotta get money, all the things I want to buy. The fire's burning, the well is dry. And we were just going crazy, man. We're high as kites, drunk as shit, and just tearing it up. And we did this 4-track CD, beautiful. I did with my first residual check, and sure enough, man, I went to the office, and they're like, that's Jonathan Johnson. Oh, hey, Mr. Johnson, can we help you? I said, yeah, I'm here to see producers. Do you have an appointment? I said, no, I don't have them planned. I don't have an appointment. I ain't got shit. And he went, okay, what do you need them for? I said, I want to give them the CDs. They went, okay, let me go check. And this guy, poor intern, man, he leaves. No, it's me now. Leaves. I look at my buddy, and before we got there, I tell the guy, should we bring shotguns? I did Pulp Fiction. Do we need shotguns? Just fucking with them, me and my buddy together. And when the guy went that way, I said, dude, come on. And he's a big old white guy, man. And we hadn't bathed in like 2 weeks, man. Stinking, you can smell it a mile away, man. We walk in, and my guy's beard, and I'm horrible. And we walk in, there's a table full of riders, man. They're all sitting there. And I know they smelled us because they went, and when they all looked away, I went, shit, we should have brought shotguns. But they're riders. I thought they would get the reference, And they just kind of looked and they were like, oh, hey, Jonathan. I said, hey, guys, I got something for you. And I passed out the Big Mountain Fudge Shake CDs. Gave everybody a CD, and we left. Man, no sooner did I get in the car that my pager goes off. Stop, use a cell phone. Joe Boucher. Jonathan, what the fuck are you doing? What did you say about shotguns? I said, it's Pulp Fiction, man. I was being funny. Comedian here. He said, oh, okay, that's kind of funny. He said, but dude, you shoot the shit out of everybody. I ain't gonna hurt nobody. It was just fun. Then about almost a year later, I get the call. They said, Jonathan, we love the idea. We're gonna go with an episode, and that was Redcorn gambles with his future, because that's basically what I did. And they said, we love, oh, dude, thank you so much. I said, I like getting people work, man. I love it. I'm working on a podcast right now that involves adult webcam entertainers.
We can talk about that. I can get you a wrap-up sign.
Yeah, wrap-up sign. That's all right. So that's story. So, funny part now. Don't interrupt me. And the best thing was, I said, oh, great, man. I said, the band is going to be so happy. I had a drummer. And they go, no, Jonathan. We don't want the band. We just want the idea. And I went, fuck y'all. My band or nothing. I said, okay. Well, I guess we'll have to tell Tom Petty and Trey Atkins. I said, who? Tom Petty and Trey Atkins. I said, fuck my band. Let's do it, boys. I got home and I said, guys, they got the idea. Well, you guys aren't doing it. I'm doing it. And then everybody goes, they don't want the band? I said, no, but your character's being Tom Petty and you're being Trace Atkins. And the guys went, really? Congratulations! And that's the Redcorn gambles with his future. And from that point, I kind of liked the character, but it wasn't until the fans, I started coming to these things, that every time I come, you hear me and my dad, a young man yesterday, was like, you know what? Me and my dad, we had a special dance. He goes, he died a couple of years ago. He said, but every day we watched it. When it was on a Sunday or whatever, we'd watch it. Me and my dad just sit down, and Mom's like, yeah, man, it was the most beautiful thing to see kids. And that's what endeared me to King of the Hill. And that's the importance of the fans. I do not have many friends, and you can see why. And the point is that, thank you for being a fan. I've literally been home with a 38 in my fucking mouth, and my phone would ring, and I'm, what's wrong with me? I answer the phone, and this man who sees my gun in my hand, sees my booze, 4 o'clock in the morning, and he's like, hold on. He grabs a beer, starts drinking, he goes, you doing okay? He didn't ask me if I'm doing okay. He's like, man, I can't let you drink alone. Drink? He's like, can I help you? Do I know you? He's like, no, I'm a big fan of yours. He said, but today I'm having the worst day. Monday morning, I'm having the worst day of my life. I said, I want to say, tell me about it, but I was smart. I was like, well, fuck, whoa. And he tells me, my son died on Friday. He had terminal cancer. He died. He said, we watched King of the Hill all the freaking time. And right after my son passed away and I was holding him and I was crying, I thought, Jesus, I got John Redcorn as a Facebook friend. Why didn't I ever call him? And he called me that Monday morning. He said, for my son, I'm calling you and say thank you. He said, those are the times I remember. And I'm thinking, what a pussy I am. I got some sissy job and not even being a man about it. And this man loses his son, saves my ass, and he's still going to work, and that's what this business is all about. You don't do it for the money. You don't do it because, oh, you're an actor. You don't do it for the women, the men. You do it because I don't have kids, but there's something that I'm leaving behind. And there's something that makes me proud when somebody tells me, hey, you've been a part of my life. And that's what's really cool about it. Thank you, guys.
And that's why we had you out to ATG Expo.
No, yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Sorry for cussing, but fuck y'all. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
The most interesting thing we will ever do
Oh, man.
If he wants to keep it going, he's going to be back at his.
Yes, going back to the booth. Yes, going back.
The show, and I'm sure that everything that we talked
Yes.
about will be just as interesting.
Yeah, we're doing a $5 table. Come over, everything's $5. Coachy, let's go.
Barely touched on your career. Man, but this stuff we got to talk about was amazing. Thank you so much.
I gotta give you something. All right, guys, thank you. Go, buddy.
All right.
Dude, that was my career. King of the Hill and Tulsa King. That's it.